Hello, I'm Clint Walker, and this is Real Estate Appraiser Secrets. Today, we're going to talk about how an appraiser can make you a Rockstar agent. So I have two ideas on this topic. Two ideas of how an appraiser can help you be a rockstar. First, one of the things that most rock stars have in common, maybe all rock stars have in common, is their confidence. Even when they don't do very well, they've got that rock star confidence because they feel good about themselves, and they know that their fans are going to love them, and I don't know, whatever else. I'm not actually a rock star, so I don't really know how they feel, but I do know about confidence because that is something that the education that I got as an appraiser kind of filled me with. I've talked in other videos about one of the great things about being an appraiser, and what we learn is we learn the questions to ask, and you really just learn the full scope of what does affect property, what could affect property, and yeah, there are always more things to learn, but there's always things that you don't know, but you really start to feel like you know everything, and that provides a lot of confidence. So I don't say that to sound arrogant. I mean, it's really just a feeling, right? Like, I know that I don't know everything, but you start to really discover what you don't know, and if you know you don't know something and you have an ounce of humility, you can go find the right answer, and that's important. Even that can make you feel good about yourself. Some of my favorite agents that regularly call me for help. One of the common sort of attitudes that I see from them is that they feel unsure, and they tell me at the end of our conversation, they thank me for the time because they're polite, but they always talk about how much better it makes them feel to get some additional information, to really to sort of dig into more nuances of the property that make them feel more confident about whatever questions their seller might ask. And I don't think as agents, I mean, there are lots of training and courses out there where we can go get information, but I've taken a lot of it, and I can tell you that most of it does not come close to the technical training that we have to have as appraisers. And so if you can get to develop a relationship with an appraiser where you can make those phone calls, if you develop a relationship, you can start to get a lot of this. It's not quite coaching, but it almost will feel like coaching for free, and you can call them up because they're your friend. You have a relationship where if there's something that needs to be paid for, they can feel confident that you'll come to them, and in consideration for that, they'll provide you with their time and expertise. I do that for a lot of people who I know that when they will hire me to do what needs to be paid for, and that gets them a lot of little freebies. So that's one thing. That's one way. The other way is, and this is one that I've experienced more in the last 6 months than any other time in my career. I've had a lot of agents hire us to do pre-listing appraisals, and for the explicit goal of hoping that we'll come in low or way below what their seller's expecting, so that their advice can hopefully be in the middle, which consequently makes them look a little better. And by virtue of proving the appraiser wrong, they start to look like a rock star, like they can accomplish what this grouchy old appraiser said they couldn't. I think that's totally valid. I've sort of even talked to some agents recently in those sort of coaching call conversations in regards to that. Like, I think it's a reasonable way to look at at an appraisal as a tool. Now, it doesn't mean that you're instructing your appraiser to come in low, because that would be sort of infringing on our objectivity, and you don't want to do that. But whatever it is, if you're having this dispute with your seller and you can't get them to sort of take your advice, or can't get them off of their position, and nobody's more in love with their house than the seller is, so they are naturally biased, like we all are, about our properties, it can be very helpful. And I think that's a maybe sort of a nice little nuance, because I know agents also have other goals with appraisals. Like, from a marketing standpoint, it can be nice to have a high appraisal and maybe the market has not been very receptive to your property and you've been on for a while and reducing the price. I've seen agents advertise in the listing, that they're selling below appraised value. And I've had conversations recently where that's been an agent's goal, and that's fine as long as you're willing to accept the objective results. But say that was your goal, was to get a high appraisal, and you ended up getting an appraisal that was lower than you were hoping for. You can sort of pivot to a different sort of, it's like marketing, a different sort of marketing for that, with that tool, and talk to your seller that, well, this is what this appraiser's objective opinion was. The next appraiser that comes along, if there is a next one, they may not have the same ultimate opinion of value, but they will be using the same techniques and standards to arrive at that opinion. So we could expect, we could reasonably expect it to be very similar in value for the next person that comes in. So we need to consider that. And then, again, if you prove us wrong, get them more money than your first appraiser said, you're going to look great. And so that's kind of just like a couple little silly things, short video. I've been just talking to agents all week long. Things really seem like they're about to start ramping up, and the confidence one really comes up maybe more than anything else. And those are the agents that I really love to help, because nobody wants to deal with somebody who's full of themselves, but it's really nice to make somebody feel better about their listing presentation, or a really difficult property to wrap your head around. There are just lots of questions that I or another appraiser could bring up and propose that you go out and find answers for, and it wouldn't even cost anything to have that conversation. If you want us to go do the finding for you, that will cost something, but that's natural. So I hope that's helpful, and if we can ever be of service to you, you can find me at appraiserpool.com. You can join our Facebook community, Ask Appraiser Pool, and that's a great free place to develop to ask these questions and share knowledge and develop that confidence, and get you some swagger in your transactions just by virtue of your expertise, which is what I would love for us all to really want to develop as agents, because I think that's how we secure our future as a profession. So love to help you with anything you need help with. Appraiserpool.com is where you can find me. Professional measurements, appraisals, consultations. And thank you so much for watching. And if you haven't already liked and subscribed, I would love it if you did that. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.